The smell.
Welcome back, everyone. Not too bad of an autumn day out there. We saw some pleasantly cool daytime highs around the lower 50s, lots of sunshine, and the winds are fairly light as well. Made it so much easier to kind of blow or rake those leaves like, well, yours truly had to do earlier on in the day. Right now, we're at 46 degrees in the Quad Cities after a high of 52, and those winds out of the northwest remain on the light side. Yeah, we're seeing plenty of 40s, some Sterling Rock Falls right through Mount Pleasant, Burlington at 48 degrees, but also, yeah, we're popping up some cooler 30s, more like upper 30s from Galesburg to Clinton, DeWitt at 39, 38 degrees over in Stockton. Yeah, not looking all too bad. We do see a few high clouds rolling out of the northwest. That's where the steering winds are located. So we'll see those from time to time, but no harm, no foul when it comes to any moisture. But that will change going to next week because not only we're tracking one, but two systems out there. The first is still located around the southwest. Of course, that low was responsible for the flooding rains that took place in Southern California. We'll get a little smidgen of that energy as we head into about Monday night. Then we'll get at least a couple of days of dry weather until the next system will be rolling in later on into next week. And I think that one has a good chance of producing some pretty decent rainfall around here. Here's our future track. Move the clock to 7 a.m. And yeah, a few clouds here and there by 7 a.m. By then, we're looking at temperatures, I think, either at or just below freezing. In fact, more upper 20s the farther north and east as you go. So there may be a little frost out there come tomorrow morning. Should recover nicely, even though we will be seeing an increase in clouds with those highs expected around the lower 50s. But if you plan on still working on those leaves or maybe still want to get those holiday decorations up, during the daytime, you're going to be fine. Look at the clock here, 7:30. That's when the first of these scattered showers will be rolling in. That wave makes its way off to the northeast, and then a couple of more scattered showers, maybe even a little rumble of thunder. Can't be ruled out farther south and west of the Quad Cities as we get to the early morning hours on Tuesday before the last of these raindrops moves on out of here by around early Tuesday morning around 7 a.m. This wave of moisture shouldn't be too bad depending on where they track, but less than a tenth to maybe as high in some isolated areas. About a half an inch of rain can't be ruled out. Okay, now we get to dry things out, cool things off a little bit on Tuesday with a high of 48 degrees. Those clouds are going to pretty much hang tough throughout our Wednesday, but keep it dry, rather seasonal with highs around 50. And then we start seeing that next wave coming on in. This is 9 a.m. on Thursday, and we start seeing some of that rain slowly make its way from south to north. This will be very common late Thursday night, but certainly going into Friday as that batch of moisture makes its way through. And it's going to be probably a steady light rain throughout most of Friday night until the last of these raindrops make their way off toward the south and east. As far as this wave is concerned, early estimates, look at that. We could be talking about 1.25 inches, maybe close to 2 inches before we finally dry out just in time for the weekend. In fact, I do believe the last of those raindrops will be taking place just before sunrise on Saturday. So outdoor plans for this weekend looking pretty good until we get to about next week. And that's when we see that big drop in temperatures through Thanksgiving week. And maybe we start seeing some more precipitation that following weekend. But Harrison, it's a trend and something we'll be keeping an eye on.